What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Dual Sense podcast. This is episode 52. This is our 1 year anniversary. I'm one of your co hosts, the Matthew McConaughey of PlayStation Podcasts. All right. My name's Jason, and I'm joined as always by your co host, Travis, also known as John Cena's ball bag. Travis, how you doing tonight?
Doing fine. I was going to give you a hard time about not sending me the podcast notes because you sent me a Kojima tinfoil hat conspiracy link, but it turns out that I didn't know how to work the email and it was there the whole time.
It was an attachment.
But
Welcome.
turns out you can't get the fucking podcast to record, so we're even.
That's correct. That's correct. I don't know what happened. I just about broke this laptop in two.
Mm-hmm.
It was really pissing me off. But I think coincidentally enough, once the computer started working again, Windows popped up and said that it had finished running a virus scan. So that always messes everything up. So thank you for that, Bill Gates.
Yeah, we got to run a virus scan so your computer will act like it has a virus.
Basically, every time, right? Well, anything else good tonight, or not much to report on your end, or what?
No, not much to report. All the dads in the neighborhood have been trying to get their yard really green. They've been out there watering. Today, James is out there working on his sprinkler system. Two dads yesterday were in their driveway pointing at the grass and talking. So, it's just a big dad off around here.
I understand. I went out this evening after dinner and watered my garden and pulled the weeds out of my garden and just taking care of it. It's my baby.
Just what a day. It's just what a day to be alive.
I know. It was a full day today. It's tough. So now here I am doing a podcast with you. And Travis, for the uninitiated or the noobs, we are a weekly podcast where you and I get together and we discuss all of the news and rumors, new game releases, and a little bit more in the world of PlayStation. You can find us every Monday on all of the usual podcast services around the world, as well as YouTube. If you prefer to listen there, at the DualSense Podcast on YouTube. We also post game streams and clips there as well on occasion. And last but not least, if you guys want to talk with us or reach out to us, you can find us on the Twitter at the DualSense Pod. And we love talking with you guys on there. We'd love to engage with you. And without further ado, tell me what you've been playing the past week.
Well, I randomly decided to make a new Youth Academy file save with Nashville in the MLS. I got bored of that in about 2 days. So I made a new one with Stevenage, and it actually enjoyed a lot better. I've been simulating all the games until I get enough youth guys that it's worth my time, and I think I'm in second to last right now. I finally got comfortable enough last night to where I think I can actually play some games and try to make a comeback for the playoff league. What are they called? League 2 playoffs. So anyway, I got some big fookers.
Nice.
I got a 6'5" wingback, 6'7" center back, 6'2" winger, and a 6'2" striker. So I got some big fookers.
You got the biggest fookers.
Nice. Because my Kilman Rock team, they're all tiny. Well, I say they're all tiny. They're all like 5'7" to 5'8" to maybe 5'10". Those are the tallest ones I have. But anyway, I like having just these big fucking goons out there, and like my winger will just truck. I played a game last night, and he just trucked a guy. I was like, all right, I can get into this. But other than that, I've just been playing Chivalry 2. Not the first one, the second one. Today we were talking earlier. There's been a litany of reviews, and it's been getting great reviews. It is a blast. It shows you that these games don't need a campaign. I'm not sure how a campaign would make that game any better than it is.
Agreed.
Well, like one of the reviews say, like you spawn and you're going headlong into your death, and it's fun. It's a blast. So, I think that this might be platinum number 2.
Uh-oh.
I think we can do it. You're gonna have to help me. We have to kill each other with bread 13 times.
The baker's dozen.
And then there's one where you have to get 50 kills. And I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do that, but that might be the one I don't get. I might be stuck like one trophy short forever, but that wouldn't be the first time I've left a game a couple trophies short. Anyway, so
like the Division 2.
Yep, and the Division.
Fuck the Division.
they tweeted out earlier. Chivalry 2 tweeted out their roadmap,
Yes.
and there's a couple of cool things I wanted to hit you with. So
Mm-hmm.
console server browser is supposed to be patch number 2. So right now we're playing with console and PC players. So I presume we'll be able to only play with console players. That would be an option.
Mm-hmm.
Auto balance is definitely an issue sometimes. We've been on both ends of that. I know last night we beat the fuck out of a team last night. I died once in team
Yes.
deathmatch, and we beat
Mm-hmm.
them. I mean, beat their fucking brains in. And then we played another match where the opposite happened, and it was miserable.
Correct.
Anyway, so some pretty cool things here. Just some things I wanted to touch on. Xbox Series S is running at 30 FPS instead of 60. That's weird.
Real weird.
Surprise there. We can initiate kicks eventually. Obviously, there's some new game modes. Aero
Uh-huh.
cam that we're both excited about. But my favorite thing
Oh
on this
yeah.
whole list is
Uh-huh.
on the future update list is horses.
Yes.
Cannot
Thank you.
wait for horses. It's going to be amazing.
Because you know 100% you're going to be able to start a map on your horse and you're going to be able to slice somebody's head off just right off the top.
Yeah, and you know that somebody's going to skewer you from the other end.
Mm.
It's going to be hilarious. So anyway, that's been a blast. I love that game. It's so much fun.
Yes.
It's when you get the parries right and the blocks and this that and the other. You know, now that you pointed out to me today that some of the classes have different health levels, that should make things a little bit easier in my brain at least, because it just seems like sometimes I'm dying so fast. But it makes more sense, you know, if I'm a knight and I'm going up against a guy like a vanguard, it makes sense. Like he's gonna have more armor. He's also got more reach. It's gonna take more for me to kill him than him to kill me. So
Right.
that all suddenly makes sense now. I didn't think it was that realistic, but anyway, it is. And then the other thing we played was Operation Tango,
That's correct.
which I gotta say is a lot more fun than I expected.
100%.
It's one of those things that once you get going on it, it's hard to stop. Like
Yeah.
it's really just a co-op puzzler is really what it is. I mean, hands
Yes.
down. But it's like it's challenging enough that it keeps you interested, and like the little mini games are like interesting enough that it's hard to you don't really know what the other person's doing at all. So
No.
especially your first playthrough, you have no idea what the other person is seeing, so it makes it so much harder to communicate what's going on and what you're looking for. And you know, you're some of those things you're timed. You have 2 minutes to do this, and we're trying to like fix the train before it crashes, and it's just like I don't know. It's a blast. It's fun though.
I agree. So like you said, we've both been playing that game together. Well, we played it last weekend. We haven't played it in the middle of the week because you made a very good point today that is a weekend game. And the reason why that is a weekend game is because when we played it, I don't remember if it was last Friday or Saturday, but you and I started playing it at about 11 and we said, "Oh, so we did a mission and then we were done at like 11:45 with the first one maybe." And we said, "Well, let's do one more." Well, we ended up
Mhm.
playing the game till about 2:15 in the morning.
We did like 4 missions.
Yeah, and that to me is the mark of a very good game. Of course, I went into it with no expectations. It was the
Mhm.
free PlayStation Plus game on PS5 this month, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And that's also a game that you and I are going to go for the platinum on. It's very
Mhm.
achievable. You just essentially have to play through the game as both the agent one time and then the hacker one time is essentially what you have to do. So it's very attainable. So we'll get that as well. Hopefully, we can play some of that this weekend. But
Mhm.
then, like you said, also played Chivalry 2 with you as well. I can't say enough good things about the game. Like I can't pimp it or evangelize it any more than I already have. Like IGN gave it a 9 out of 10. PlayStation Universe gave it a 10 out of 10. Their
Mhm.
first of the year, and they said that it was their early contender for game of the year. And it's a only multiplayer medieval fighting game.
Yeah, it's
So
just a battle royale.
it's just it's just so good. There's no I can't, there's nothing. I was thinking about it today. Like I don't have anything bad to say about the game. Like
Mhm.
I can't think of one thing I don't like about it.
The only thing I got mad about was I was trying to jump last night and I couldn't jump and I got killed. I was like, "Fucking let me jump." That was the only
Mm,
thing that happened.
okay, that's fair. Yeah, you can't mount or mantle things. Like there's no jumping over an obstacle. I mean, you can jump over an obstacle, but like if you walk up to a barricade, you're not like climbing over it like Call of Duty. So that is a slight annoyance, I guess. But I love that game. And then the last thing played this week. I played some more Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I don't have much more to report about that game other than it's gorgeous, of course, and the gunplay and combat is still excellent. It's the best part of the game, in my opinion, especially with the controller. So look forward to continuing on with that. I'm not going to get the platinum in that game. It's a really good game, but I don't have the urge to get the platinum in that game. So I'll just finish it and move on, be done with it. So that's pretty much it for me. I didn't mean to cut you off. Was that all you were playing? Did you race it all this week or no?
No, I slept through my race
Okay.
Sunday. Like four like four people were signed up out of the league, and like I'm not
Oh,
gonna race with four people. It's miserable. Like that's not a league.
yeah.
That's just it's miserable because I've been on both sides of this. You know, you make one mistake and then you're driving for 40 minutes by yourself,
Yeah.
or
Right.
they make a mistake and you're ahead by like 6 laps for 40 minutes. I've done both of those, and neither of them are particularly fun. So
Sure.
at least when you have 20 guys, like, yeah, you might make a mistake, but there's always back markers you can catch, or midfield. Like, there's always something there. You can play with your strategy or whatever. But with four guys, like, man, if two of them decide to just draft each other within, 15 minutes, they're going to be so far ahead of you. If the other guy wants to battle and not draft, it's just pointless. So no, I probably won't do it this week either.
I gotcha. Well, that's all right. Sometimes you just need to take a step back. Well, with that, let's jump into the news here. We have a lot to get to again this week. If you remember, those of you out there in podcast land, we only covered the first part of E3 last week. So Wednesday through Friday, or E3 really, and Summer Game Fest as well. So we're picking back up with Saturday's news and then through the rest of the week. So here we go. Number one, on Saturday, we got to see the Ubisoft Forward event, Travis, and they revealed a number of PlayStation relevant items as well here. Maybe the most important thing that we saw was Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, which was revealed for the PlayStation 5 from Ubisoft Massive, the team behind the Division series. It is a first person open world RPG that will launch at some point in 2022. We also saw Rainbow Six Extraction, which got the name change as we discussed last week. It got a lengthy gameplay demo featuring 3-player co op, and we learned that it will launch on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 on September the 16th. We also got to see open world extreme sports sandbox game Riders Republic, which also got a gameplay trailer of some great length, and it will launch on PS4 and PS5 on September the 2nd. Then we saw a new trailer for Far Cry 6, and the game's post launch content was also revealed, which includes the ability to play as the villains from Far Cry's 3 through 5. Ubisoft also announced that Assassin's Creed Valhalla will get its own Discovery Tour mode sometime this fall, and the game's second expansion, The Siege of Paris, will also release this summer. And finally, it was also announced that content support for the game will extend well into 2022, the first time for an Assassin's Creed game that content will go into year 2. Watch Dogs Legion's expansion Bloodline, featuring Aiden Pierce from the first game, was also announced to be releasing on July the 6th. And then a couple of other minor announcements from Ubisoft. Just a Dance 2022 will release this November on PS4 and PS5. And then finally, a new version of Rocksmith called Rocksmith Plus was revealed, and it is a subscription style service coming soon to PS4 and PS5. Okay. Anything here that piqued your interest?
I thought Just Dance was dead like 3 years ago, and they just keep coming back with one every year.
Oh, yeah.
Rocksmith is really cool if you want to learn how to play guitar. It's like literally it's Guitar Hero with a guitar. You just plug in your USB from your whatever your electric acoustic or your electric guitar. So it's pretty sweet how that works.
Yes.
If you're bored and want to try it, it's pretty cool. I was going to ask you about Far Cry 6 and and the ability to play as these villains. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the draw is to me from the perspective of how you play the game. Like,
Hmm.
literally how you play the game. Like, you're in first person, so like
Right.
playing with characters only really works for me if I'm in third person. Like, if you could play a Sully or whatever, you could change characters on Arkham Knight. Like, that would be more interesting to me. Like, if I'm in first person and all I can see are my hands, it doesn't really matter to me if I'm the guy that worked for Tuco on Better Call Saul.
Hmm. Yeah, Voss.
Yeah, Voss. It just doesn't do it for me. But
Yeah.
I understand some people that might be a big thing for them. The game that I'm most excited or most interested in, I guess, is Rainbow Six Extraction. But the 3-player co-op, that sounds fun because I have 2 other friends that have PlayStations, so that would be fun. But the thing is it's
Yeah.
coming out in September, and we're gonna have Call of Duty, we're gonna have Battlefield around that time. Like, it seems like a bad time for Ubisoft to release that game because they're
Yeah.
going up against 2 franchises that you know are gonna sell well. Like COD and Battlefield can sell independently of each other. I know they're in the same market, but I don't really know how much they necessarily affect each other. I know they like to act like they do, but I mean, they're different games.
Hmm.
And me and you have played them both. Most of our friends have played them both. Like, it's just what you're in the mood for. So
Yeah.
I don't know how Rainbow Six fits into that. I mean, you could make that same argument for them, but if you're already dropping 120, $150, if you're buying the special edition, $200 for those 2 games, are you going to spend it on another first person shooter? I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that's my
that's,
question there.
yeah, that's totally fair. In regards to that, I think that not only what you're saying, but the other thing worth pointing out with Extraction is so within 1 month of each other, okay, we're getting Rainbow Six Extraction, we're getting Back for Blood,
Oh yeah.
which is a similar style game with
Hmm.
zombies, and then we're also getting the World War Z Aftermath update,
Hmm.
which is like a re-release on PS4.
Right.
But they did say that they're not going to release the PS5 version until early 2022. But still, within a month of each other, you're getting all 3 of those games, all co-op shooting zombie aliens and extraction standpoint, all the same type of game.
Hmm.
So you have that, and then you roll right into like you said, Battlefield, and not to mention, for me, more importantly, on October the 7th, we get Far Cry 6,
Oh yeah.
which is also a co-op
And we should get
first
Deathloop.
person shooter.
Deathloop at
Yeah,
some point in that time frame.
yeah, we'll have Deathloop. If I remember right, Deathloop will come out the day after Extraction. I think Deathloop's the 17th.
Is that what it is?
Maybe it's
I
the
couldn't
it's the
remember.
same. Yeah, it's the same week for sure. It's either the 14th or the 17th. I don't know. Same week, but I mean,
It's just a lot for a market that's already crowded. It's not like it's a racing game. Like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, the fall is going to be packed anyway.
yeah,
But I
or
think
even a horror game would be.
yeah, I mean the game's gonna. I think the game's gonna sell fine because Rainbow Six Siege players, which are millions, are gonna
Right.
buy it. Are gonna buy it probably, but really, other than Far Cry, but I am interested in the game. We'll say that. We'll see how it reviews. But Far Cry 6, really, I'm way more interested in.
Right.
I'm really looking forward to co-oping it with you and John. And then the only other thing that really stood out to me of all these games was Riders Republic. I thought
Mhm.
actually that was the best game that they showed. To me, that looks awesome. I enjoyed the Steep game, which is the same studio working on this,
Mhm.
and I enjoyed the first person camera, like downhill mountain biking and all that stuff.
Yeah,
It looks really awesome. So
that mountain biking footage looked awesome. I mean, it was crazy.
yeah, they're going to be doing a beta before release. So I'm going to check out the beta and see if it's any good, and then kind of go from there. Which, as we talked about last week, is a perfectly okay thing to do, um,
Uh-huh.
depending on the game.
Especially Battlefield. You know, you
Uh
never
huh.
know with them. You never know with dice.
You're right. And then I guess we do need to say something about Avatar. First of all, I have zero interest in playing an Avatar game
Mhm.
on PS5. It's the only thing that I guess gives me a modicum of, if you want to call it like cursory interest, is the fact that Ubisoft Massive is doing it, and they did the Division games,
Oh,
which I love both of.
that's not what I thought you were gonna say.
Oh, okay. What did you think I was going to say?
Blue people give you erections. Just a thought. I didn't know where you were going with it.
No, I mean not usually, but I mean
Uh,
you never know. So anyway, I don't have any interest in that game. The movie's fine, whatever. I assume they're gonna. This means they're gonna release a sequel next
that's
year.
exactly what I thought.
I mean, that's pretty much foregone conclusion. Those are going to be in the same year at the very least, but whatever. So
Yeah,
it's not for
James.
me, but
I don't need these movies from James Cameron. I don't need these games. He can just keep, looking for lost shipwrecks or whatever on Discovery Channel. It's fine.
right. But excited for Far Cry, and keeping my eye on Riders Republic. Number 2, Travis, on Sunday. Moving on here, we got to see Xbox and Bethesda showcase. which included a lot of PlayStation relevant information as well. For starters, Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl got a new gameplay trailer and was announced to be releasing on April 28th of 2022 on Xbox. But PlayStation players won't have to wait too long to play the game, as leaked documents from the Apple vs. Epic Games trial revealed that the game is only a 3-month Xbox exclusive, meaning that we'll most likely get the game late in the year next year on PS5. We also got a new Back for Blood gameplay trailer, which really is of no consequence, as you can see from Travis's interest. And then we also got the first gameplay trailer for Battlefield 2042. In addition to a Psychonauts 2 gameplay trailer, which will launch on PS4 and PS5 in August. And then Fallout 76 brought a new trailer for a new update called Steel Rain. And they also teased a future expansion into Pennsylvania called The Pit. We also learned that Diablo 2 Resurrected will release on September the 23rd, and they showed a new trailer for that. And then we got an announcement for A Plague Tale Requiem, which is the sequel to A Plague Tale Innocence, and it will release sometime next year on PlayStation 5. And then we got another Far Cry 6 trailer, as if we didn't have enough already, Travis. We also learned that Doom Eternal will get a native PlayStation 5 version on June 29th, featuring a performance mode, a balanced mode, and a ray tracing mode. And then developer Munfish also showed a new trailer for their post-apocalyptic first-person shooter Atomic Heart, but we still don't have a release date for that game, although it's tentatively scheduled for this year sometime. And finally, we saw a new trailer, an announcement that Suikoden spiritual successor Ayuden Chronicle 100 Heroes will launch in 2023, and that a companion game called Ayuden Chronicle Rising, which is a town-building action RPG set in the same universe, will launch in 2022. So let's stop there and talk about Xbox and Bethesda before we move on to Square Enix. What did you think? Anything here from Xbox or Bethesda that stood out?
I got three things. I'll start at number 3.
Mm-hmm.
One being the most interested. So this town builder you just talked about, I think that's interesting. It's definitely, I think it's interesting. That's the right word for it. And that's about as far as it went with me. Psychonauts 2 made me think of the song Psycho Killer by the Talking Heads, which I then went and listened to. So that was great. I enjoyed that a lot. I haven't heard that in a while. So shout out to those guys. Hopefully their next game will remind me of another song I forgot about. And the biggest and most interesting and only important thing was the Battlefield trailer.
Yes.
It was fucking kick ass. Like, if we had the Seven Nation Army song at the beginning, like COD had that one time,
Oh yeah,
I would be like, ba 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 boner. Like, that's what I would do. And we like the levelation looked interesting. There wasn't a lot of levelation. Like, as much as they talked about how much these levels were going to be like destructive and customizable with all your weapons and stuff, you didn't really show a whole lot of that. But the terrain,
right.
you could see the terrain deform around the tires. They did the classic Battlefield thing where like a guy's, puts his C4 on an ATV and he drives it to a helicopter. His buddy ghost rides it to a helicopter and he blows it up. Like, yeah, they showed you some only Battlefield moments, which is classic Battlefield in their trailers. The weather looked phenomenal. Like, the tornado was sucking you in, but then you could see people like flying inside the tornado with their parachutes. So it looks like, you could use the weather to your advantage in some situations. I don't know if you saw, like, on the mini map down below, there was like, A1, A2 or whatever. There are multiple A's.
Yes, I did.
So stuff like that I thought was interesting. It looked really good and looked really clean. If you there's a couple places you can watch a 4K version of the trailer if you have a setup that can run that, and
check that out.
You can legitimately tell the difference between 1080 and 4K. Like, when you just watch the trailer back to back, like, it's so much cleaner and everything looks so much more polished. So anyway, it's definitely like, that was the only reason to watch on Sunday.
Nice. I'm gonna have to check that out. I forgot to look at the 4K version of that because everything's always like 1080p compressed whenever they do a stream.
Jack Fags has one if you want to watch it.
Okay, I will. So for me, I'll just work my way down here of things that interested me. Stalker 2 looks awesome. That is a beautiful game. I'm glad that it's coming to PS5 eventually. That looks cool. Don't know anything about the first one, but this one looks very cool. And then down the list here, Battlefield 2042. Can't wait. I don't have anything to add really from what Travis said. That just cemented my pre-order, confidence in my pre-order. That's all it did for me, really. And then moving down here, I am interested in the Atomic Heart FPS game that's still somewhat mysterious. But there's a lot of gameplay out there about it. We know what the game is, but we still don't know when it's coming. But I'm keeping my eye on that one as well. And then the last one here, I will let you in on a little something. I backed this Ayuden Chronicle game on Kickstarter just on a whim because it was like one of the most popular Kickstarters of all time for video games, and
That's right.
it looks very interesting. I never played a game quite like that, but I wanted to see what it's about. So anyway, let's move on to Square Enix here, which there's not really a whole lot, but here we go. Square Enix showed us developer Eidos Montreal's new project, which is Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, a single-player, third-person action-adventure game where you play as Star-Lord alongside Rocket Raccoon, Groot, Drax, and Gamora.
What about Sodom?
Right? It releases on October the 26th for PS4 and PS5. We then saw A Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin, which was announced from developer Team Ninja. The game has a Soulsborne style gameplay and will release sometime in 2022 exclusively for PS4 and PS5. There's a demo available right now. Action RPG Babylon's Fall reappeared and got a new gameplay trailer, but still no release date. And we now know that that game is a live service multiplayer game coming to PS4 and PS5. Marvel's Avengers Black Panther expansion called War for Wakanda received a gameplay trailer, and it will be added to the game sometime in August on PS4 and PS5. Life is Strange Remastered Collection was announced to release on September 30th on PS4. And finally, the next game in the series, Life is Strange True Colors, got a new gameplay trailer as well. All right, anything from Square Enix that interested you?
Nope.
Fair.
I think Guardians of the Galaxy could be interesting if it's like Kingdom Hearts. I think that could have a little bit of run there if it's kind of, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of what I was picturing in my head with all the characters, but I'm sure it's nothing like that.
Yeah. Square Enix's show was awful. Other than Guardians of the Galaxy, really. Like, if they didn't have Guardians of the Galaxy, it would be maybe one of the worst E3 shows ever.
Was that the one where they were basically just blowing each other in a circle?
What, the Square Enix one?
Yeah, where they were just like, "Oh, we did so great. You guys are great in your studio." Like,
No. No, that wasn't. That wasn't this one. That wasn't this one.
It must have been 2K.
That was Take Two.
Oh, it was Take Two. Right.
So
sorry.
yeah, 2K Rockstar. That was that one. Yeah.
Sorry.
The only thing really that I'm interested in keeping my eye on from this one is Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm not a Marvel guy, really. I've never seen any of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Like, none of that. None of that. But this game does look somewhat interesting.
Yeah.
Probably won't play it unless it's like a 10 or a 9, like 90 on Metacritic or something. And even then, I would probably get it on sale. But it seems like Guardians of the Galaxy meets Mass Effect is basically what that looked like to me. So, and I've never played Mass Effect either.
You've never said a more true statement that you aren't a Marvel's guy. I mean, you like DC because it's for sad bastards.
It absolutely is for sad bastards. That's why I love Batman so much. I started a couple weeks ago. HBO Max has a big majority of the Batman animated movies on there. So I started watching them in order. I started with Batman Mask of the Phantasm or Phantasma.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That movie with Anastasia?
Yes. No. But it was good. It's a good movie. I love Batman. That's my sad bastard homie.
Yeah. Well, he gets to eat out some cat pussy, so maybe.
Oh, that was cracking me up this week. I loved every second of that.
Didn't make any. I got online and Batman's trending. I thought, oh, maybe we're getting another movie, and it's like, no, or Robert Pattinson update. No, he's going down on Catwoman. Like, of course he is. Why would he not?
Dude, every bit of that this week cracked me up. Like, everybody was just talking about eating Catwoman out for like 48 hours on Twitter. It was so weird. I don't know what we did before the internet. Actually, I know exactly what we did. We used to have to get our internet on a CD in the mail or at the gas station. All right. Number 3. New insight on PlayStation's partnership with developer Deviation Games came to light this week through interviews with the websites GameIndustry.biz and Eurogamer. Studio co-founder Dave Anthony told Game Industry that partnering with Sony afforded them years' worth of financial security from day one. The developer has also gained access to Sony Interactive Entertainment infrastructure and staff, including producers to support development of their new IP, art services, analytics, and IT support as examples. Head of PlayStation Studios Herman Holst told Eurogamer that the partnership began about a year and a half ago, and that Deviation's new PlayStation exclusive title is a AAA level game, which is quote unquote a little while out. All right. Any thoughts on this?
I know Dave is just talking about like Dave, what's up, buddy? I know he's just talking about like look at all the tools we have. Like PlayStation's been awesome to work with. This has been a great partnership. But all I'm hearing is like there's no reason this game should be bad. So
Right.
I feel like he's putting a lot of weight on himself by opening up and saying this is this is just my perspective. Like if I'm opening up like that to somebody, I'm also putting pressure on myself on the back end of that. Like, yeah, I have all this
Yeah.
stuff, it's amazing, but also like I have no excuse to fail. So
Yeah.
that being said, it kind of raises the expectations a little bit because being a partnership or having a partnership versus having a partnership and access to all the stuff is a different thing. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Basically what I took from this is, hey, here we are. We're not a first party studio, but Sony is basically treating us like we're a first party
Right.
studio. And
Right. Right.
they gave us so much money that we're good. And they own the IP, we're making it for them. That's basically what I took from this. This game is we probably won't see this game until 2024 at the earliest, but the weird thing about all this is that, typically even when a studio gets announced or whatever, like at the very least, you can say what type of game you're making. Like, oh, we're Deviation. We're making a co-op open world first person sci-fi shooter. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
they can at least give us that. None of
Hmm.
these studios have been able to do that. So,
Right. Well, it's the blue block. It's the blue box standard.
right, dude, we're gonna get into that. I can't wait. So it's been that way with Haven. It's been that way with. Well, we know Firewalk is making a multiplayer game. I believe they did admit that much. Okay,
Hmm.
that's a start for God's sake. But
Yeah, but it was vague still.
it's vague. Like at least they should be able to tell us what type of game they're making. In my opinion, I don't know. It's been weird, but I think that Sony is putting this stuff out there to drum up excitement, to say, hey, we know all these shots are getting fired from Microsoft, but just don't worry, we've got stuff in the works too. We've got all these exclusive games coming from second party with these new teams, with all these people who've made high level games like Call of Duty Black Ops, like Assassin's Creed, all the shit. So I think that's the point that they're trying to make, but whether they're doing it very eloquently is another conversation,
Right. I
perhaps.
feel like it's showing you that, or what they're saying is, hey, this is going to be a longer burn. Like second half of
Yeah.
this life cycle, we're going to be hitting you with like all kinds of stuff from different directions. Like be
Yeah.
ready for it, you know.
Yeah. I think you're right. Number 4, Bethesda Softworks head of global marketing, Pete Hines, apologized for future Bethesda games becoming exclusive to Xbox and PC in an interview with GameSpot. Hines told the website, quote, if you're a big fan of stuff we make and it is no longer available on your platform, I totally understand if you are unhappy or pissed or whatever. I get it. Those are all real feelings and frustrations. I don't know how to allay the fears and concerns of PS5 fans other than to say, well, I'm a PS5 player as well, and I've played games on that console, and there's games I'm going to continue to play on it. But if you want to play Starfield, it's on PC and Xbox. End quote. What do you make of this?
I didn't feel like he had to make a comment at all.
Sure.
I mean, it is what it is. We all understand why they made that move for exclusivity on the Xbox and PC. I don't think it's people that are whinging and moaning. I get it. It does suck, especially, Starfield looked awesome for a lot of people. I get it. But, like he says, it is what it is. And I don't really think that he owes anybody an apology, but, that's nice of him, I guess, to say that.
Yeah, he did not need to say that or have to say this. Like it wasn't necessary. There's nothing to apologize for. It's business. people, reasonable people will understand. I mean, PlayStation fans really can't bitch about this because this is how things go. Like Xbox players who have never owned a PlayStation haven't got to play The Last of Us. They haven't got to play Uncharted. They
Mhm.
haven't got to play God of War. They haven't got to play Ghost of Tsushima. They haven't got to play Ratchet and Clank. They haven't got to play Spider-Man. Like it's okay. Like we have our stuff and they have their stuff. And at the end of the day, if Xbox players want to play that shit, they have to buy a PlayStation. And if I decide that I want to play Starfield, then I'm going to have to buy an Xbox, you know? And it is what it is. So I don't think there's anything to apologize for. I think he could have just skipped this, but maybe he's just being nice or maybe he's rubbing our noses in it, but I mean either way it's not that big of a deal in my opinion. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. And I mean, I will say the Xbox and Bethesda showcase was really good. I thought that they, you know, Bethesda specifically, I thought showed a lot of stuff that was cool. Like Starfield looks cool. Like, I mean, it is what it is. But anyway, number 5, industry analysts, the NPD Group, released their May sales data this week, and the top selling software on PS4 and PS5 was as follows. Number 1 was Resident Evil Village, followed by MLB The Show 21 at number 2, which is also number 2 overall, regardless of platform. Number 3 was Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. 4 was Returnal, which was number 7 overall. 5 was Spider-Man Miles Morales, which was 11 overall. 6 was Mortal Kombat 11. 7 was Biomutant. 8 was Call of Duty Modern Warfare. 9 was It Takes Two. And 10 was Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Any thoughts?
Absolutely nothing surprising me on that list.
Yeah.
Biomutant seems a little high to me, but I understand completely. It seems high to me because I don't usually when I see games, I can see why it would be interesting. When I looked at Biomutant, I can kind of see why it's interesting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
But nothing there really surprised me. It Takes Two.
Hmm.
Not that I'm surprised that it's at 9, but it's interesting to see it up there to me. To when they announced how many players they had on their servers, that surprised me more than anything. But that lines up with it
Yeah.
being number 9. So,
I think that Returnal actually is doing pretty well.
hmm
In my opinion, for the month of May,
hmm
which is very good. It's in very very good company. 7 overall, regardless of platform. I think that's pretty strong for that game. Spider-Man Miles Morales has extremely long legs here. We're 7 months after launch, and it's still 5 overall, or 5 on PlayStation and 11 overall. It's pretty awesome. And then Biomutant, that's not bad, I guess, for a team of 20 or 30 people, whatever. So
hmm
nothing really surprising there, but that seems like pretty good news for Returnal. We'll see how June shakes out with Ratchet and being in the fold now. Number 6, Travis, we also have a lot of news nuggets here. Feel free to join me with your thoughts wherever possible, wherever you feel the need. First nugget, website Bloomberg reported that PSVR 2 will use Samsung OLED display panels and that Sony plans to launch the new headset in the 2022 holiday season. This pretty much lines up with kind of what we've talked about before.
hmm
My thought has always been that they would give us a full reveal of PSVR 2 sometime this year with plans to launch it sometime next year. So I think that makes a lot of sense and it sounds like it's going to be a powerhouse. So I'll be interested to see how it plays games. Website Axios reported that Ubisoft massive studio head David Polfett has resigned after 16 years with the developer. I guess he's tired of working on a Avatar game. Cyberpunk 2077 will return to the PlayStation Store on June 21st, CD Projekt Red announced. But Sony, on the other hand, has warned players that the game is still unstable on PS4 and advised players to play on either PS4 Pro or PS5.
That's interesting. So basically, don't buy it if you're on the original PS4.
Correct. The hit roguelike dungeon crawling game Hades from Supergiant Games will finally come to PS4 and PS5 on August 13th. I'm interested in checking that one out. Everyone says universally that it's pretty good, so we'll see. Here you go, Travis. F1 2021 received a new features trailer this week, highlighting the game's various modes and systems, such as the co-op career mode, single-player story mode called Breaking Point, cool name, and the management-based My Team mode. What did you think about it?
The co-op career mode looks cool. We talked about that before, though. This is the issue I always have with F1 games or F1 type games is like, you're doing 20 races and it's a lot to ask. I think even
Mm-hmm.
to do the races at 25%, it's a lot to ask. A lot of people to sit down and just pump out those 20 races for more than 1 year. For the my team to mode to be interesting and work, you almost need to do multiple seasons, and I wonder how tedious that will get. NCAA football always kept itself fresh with recruiting, and you could change conferences or whatever. There were ways to keep it fresh, and plus, it takes you 30, 40 minutes to play a game. So even on 2K, like there's the draft, free agency, you could do expansions. Like I don't know, I worry about that. Even a lot of streamers, they barely make it through 1 year. So that's interesting to me. And then if you do like people are like, well, you could do 5 laps. Well, like, okay, 5 laps, like what do you get out of 5 laps? You don't really get much out of 5 laps as far as I'm
Right.
concerned. So I think something like Breaking Point is a perfect example of maybe what we'll get out of the EA ownership. I wonder how much of this Codemasters had in mind before they switched over. But I think the more details we get, the more it'll make that might pan itself out a little bit. But the co-op career mode is what makes me interested in it. Otherwise, I'll just play 2020.
So I did watch the trailer, and I will tell you that it looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
It for someone who doesn't play racing games per se, and certainly doesn't play F1 games
Hmm.
or sim racing style games. There's some compelling stuff there. So I don't know if I'll be there at launch, but if the game ever gets a decent sell,
Hmm.
I'm gonna try and check it out with you because I saw some things that tickled me.
If it's Codemasters, it'll definitely go on sale. But there's so much, like, before you do the race, there's like programs you can run, and these programs, like, they
Okay.
teach you about the track and help set up your fuel strategy and your tire strategy and this, that, and the other. But they also give you resource points and fans. So like the resource points you use to upgrade like your aero department or your powertrain department or whatever. So it's like, on one hand, like, yeah, you could simulate all those, but it's like when you simulate on FIFA and don't do the training, you'll just get like random results. You won't always get A's, so you won't get as
Okay.
much resource points, but you'll get to do the races quicker and get through the season faster. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I find those, I do those things because it helps familiarize me with the track, because it's like, it's not NASCAR. You're not turning left. There's like a lot of shit going on. There's
Going to do 185,
Yeah,
going to turn left.
and then two, like, running the track in time trial with nobody around you versus like now there's cars around you in practice. Like all of that kind of makes the game, uh, gives it more depth and more legs, as you like to say. But you
Hmm.
know, I'm interested how all this play into that. Like, you know, who is going to be. I don't know. I just feel like it's hard to find two people that are really going to co-op a game like that. I think
Yeah.
that you'd have to almost make it a short season and do maybe 10 races or something.
Right. Well, we'll see. See how it goes. Next nugget here. Website Push Square reported that sultry erotic horror title Lust from Beyond is getting a much tamer version on PS4, allowing console owners to experience the PC only game but without the adult only content at some point in the future.
What is the adult only content? Because I read that as Less from Behind, and I thought I can see that. And then
Yeah, it sounds like it was very sexual,
great.
my understanding, very titillating.
Well, I wonder if that'll run on the base PS4.
Have all them pixelated boobies.
Pixelated titties.
Very titillating. Post apocalyptic FPS RPG Chernobylite will launch on July 28th on
Guys,
PS4 and will come later this year to PS5.
can we fucking release this game? We've been
Dude,
It's been in the news for fucking 52 episodes.
it really is. We get these quite often. I think there's another one later on that we've talked about 15 times. Also, time bending strategy first person shooter Limnus Gate will launch on August 3rd on PS4 and PS5. Fantasy RPG Solstice from publisher Modus Games and developer Reply Game Studios will launch on PS5 sometime next year. Godfall publisher Gearbox finally confirmed that the game will indeed be coming to PS4 on August the 10th, which launches alongside the Fire and Darkness expansion for the game. Publisher Devolver Digital announced side-scrolling samurai action game Trek to Yomi, and that it will be coming to PS5 sometime next year. Game looks dope.
It is. I watched the trailer. I think I sent it to you guys, or you sent it to us. I can't remember, but it looks
You
awesome.
did. You sent it to me. I watched it. It looks awesome. Cartoon dodgeball game Dodgeball Academia will make its way to PS4 at some point in the future. Far Changing Tides was announced during the PC gaming show and is a sequel to Far Lone Cells that will release later this year on PS4 and PS5. Virtual reality traffic management simulation Traffic Jams will come to PSVR on August 26th. Watch the trailer for this. It looks hilarious.
Is it like the surgeon game?
It's like the surgeon game, but with traffic and cartoon characters.
Even better.
Yeah. Back for Blood developer Turtle Rock Studios revealed this week that only the game host will need to own the DLC in order for everyone else in the party to play it. That's pretty neat.
How liberal.
Yeah. It's very neat. Very communistic. Also, hand-drawn action RPG Tales of Iron was announced for PS4 and PS5, and it features Doug Cockle, the voice of Geralt from The Witcher, Travis, as the game's narrator, but no release date was given. Are you excited for Mr. Doug Cockle?
Yeah, is he in Beyond the Lust or Lust from Beyond or whatever it's called?
He might be.
Doug Cockle.
Yeah. Great voice, though.
Great voice.
Nice set of pipes on that guy.
Yeah, great cock.
What a pipe on that guy. Also, Hood, Outlaws and Legends received a new free map this week called Mountain. Really real original, a snowy locale in a first round of post-launch content.
Is it just called Mountain, or is it actually called Mountain, the snowy locale?
No, it's called Mountain.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, that's my understanding. My understanding. These guys probably name all of Ubisoft's games for them. No wonder. Also, an Epic Game Store listing for Final Fantasy VII Remake appeared this week and indicates that a PC release is forthcoming. Also, along those lines, an Alan Wake remastered file was also discovered on the Epic Game Store, which makes sense because Remedy Entertainment, the developer of Alan Wake, and Epic Games have a publishing agreement for several games. EA Originals and narrative adventure game Lost in Random was reconfirmed to be coming sometime this year by developers Zoink Games, who previously released PSVR game Ghost Giant. Call of Duty Warzone received 120 frames per second support on PS5 in an update this week. A native PS5 version of A Plague Tale Innocence will release on July 6th, which is rumored to be a July PlayStation Plus title. Sony is bringing back the system firmware update beta program to PlayStation 5. Users can sign up now on the PlayStation website for a chance at being a beta tester.
I feel like I signed up for that on the 4.
Yeah, I think you did. After having my brick experience with my PS5, there's no way in hell I'm going to sign up to be a beta tester for the firmware. No thanks.
Brick my shit, guys, please.
Yeah, let's call it the call it the brick tester beta.
My wife said, "What does it mean that the system is bricked?" And I was like, "Because it's as useful as a fucking brick. That's why."
That's all it is at that point. It's a brick. That's good. Also, Tetris Effect multiplayer expansion Connected will come to PS4 and PSVR as a free update sometime in July. It Takes Two, the latest co-op game from Joseph Ferris and Hazelight Studios that we just mentioned in the MPD data a minute ago, has sold over 2 million copies worldwide, Travis, which means that, by some simple math here, 4 million players have played that game.
Does it mean that?
I believe so, yeah.
Well, wouldn't it just mean that 2 million people have played it?
No, because they all had to play with somebody, and because it has a friend pass. You don't have not every.
The friend pass. Sorry, I got you.
I guess it could. I guess it could technically be less than 4 million, like if 2 of those people played together. So I see what you're saying. Yeah, you're right. But let's just say more than 2 million people have played. So fuck me. I'm a dumb American. I don't know how to do math.
Well, they don't even know what a million is in Australia. Don't they call it something else down there?
Probably.
Don't they use euros or something?
I stopped counting. I stopped learning how to count after 2 because that's the number of world wars we won.
I got all the way to 3 for Dale Senior, so yeah. Anyway, that's just about that, Britain.
EA Sports PGA Tour has acquired the licenses to the U.S. Open, Torrey Pines Golf Course, and the Country Club, whatever that is, as well as the U.S. Amateur Championship.
It's the Country Club.
Yeah, sure. Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes are your cover athletes for Madden NFL 22.
Okay.
And a PS4 version of Demon Souls Remake has been discovered by a Twitter account and PlayStation Game Size, but does not necessarily mean that the game is coming to PS4, as it was reported later today that file is about 4 years old. So it potentially could mean that originally the game was coming to PS4 and then they later decided to move it to PS5, for instance. So don't get too rock hard. Website PlayStation Lifestyle reported new details on the upcoming World War Z Aftermath, including that the PS5 version will not drop until early 2022, as we mentioned a minute ago, but will come with a free PS4 to PS5 upgrade. It will also include a Horde mode XL game mode, which is only going to be available on PS5, and it will allow hundreds of zombies to be rendered at once in a wave-based survival mode.
Cool.
Sounds really cool. I think that's, of the 3 games, that Extraction and that other one, Back for Blood, this might be the one that I just wait for. Mystery thriller game Conway: Disappearance at Dahlia View was announced for PS4 and PS5 and will release sometime this fall.
How do you spell Delilah?
I think it's Delillah. I think that's Delilah.
Oh. So I was like, hey there, Delilah. I heard
This
you
one's
disappeared in Conway.
this one's Dahlia. This is Conway Twitty.
Oh, this is the
Disappearance.
Black Dahlia.
Yeah.
Heard you got cut in half in Conway. We can't find your left nipple.
Jeez.
And then what happened to the
Dark
Black
here.
Dahlia? Didn't they cut off her tit or something? I don't remember, guys.
I don't know. Ask Josh Hartnett. He was in a movie about it.
I think you're saying with the Black Dahlia. I was like, dude, that really? He's a fucking time machine.
Also, Travis, the trial version of Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins has been extended to June 26th after launching with myriad technical issues. Custom Pro-style DualSense controllers are available from Hex Gaming on Amazon, and they come complete with programmable back buttons as well as various customization options from thumbsticks to colorways. They also run $249.99 US, by the way. Yeah. Website PlayStation Universe reported that a new rumor from Reset Era user Navtra suggests that a PlayStation showcase is coming in the next few weeks, and PlayStation also filed on June the 11th for a new trademark for PlayStation Experience and PSX.
That's cool.
For allegedly a new event that's forthcoming here, so we'll see. Also, realistic boxing game Esports Boxing Club will be coming to PS4 and PS5 sometime later this year.
Is that the thing you sent? We sent each other the thing about, right?
Yeah, it looks
There's
really
no
cool.
way. There's no way that's gonna be ready this year. I can't believe that.
I know. It looks really cool though. Roguelike bullet dodging shooter Death Run TV will come to PS4 and PS5 at some point in the future. Republic Anniversary Edition was announced for PS4 and PSVR, but no release date was given. A physical edition will be coming via limited run games. A new Resident Evil game called Resident Evil Outrage is rumored to be in the works and will feature Rebecca Chambers as the protagonist.
Is that the bitch in the big hat with a big ass?
No,
Oh.
that's the vampire chick from this new one.
Who's Rebecca Chambers? Is she like a gymnast or something?
I don't know. I don't know anything about Resident Evil. It's not for me.
All right. Well, Rebecca, holler at us.
Becky, da. Virtual reality thriller espionage sequel I Expect You to Die 2 released a new trailer this week and is confirmed to be coming out this summer on PSVR. Puzzle platformer Hoa is launching on PS4 and PS5 on August 14th. Website Gamatsu reported that narrative adventure game Button City will launch on PS5 in the third quarter of this year. India set action adventure game Raji, an Ancient Epic Enhanced Edition, will come to PS4 in the fourth quarter of this year.
Sorry, that was just like an automated. That just exasperated. I don't know where that came from. Just India set action adventure game just sounds like, oh god, it sounds like Prince of Persia, but with like the shitty Bollywood music.
Yeah, it's a Prince of Persia ripoff. But that story-driven action adventure game Arietta of Spirits will release on PS4 sometime this summer. 3D platformer Demon Turf has added PS4 and PS5 versions and will launch sometime this year. Retro-style action-adventure game Hunt the Night will release on PS4 at some point in the future. Action Rescue 2D platformer Fire Girl will launch on PS4 and PS5 sometime this fall, and it actually doesn't look bad. I watched the trailer for it. It's kind of neat. And you don't sound convinced.
No.
Investigation adventure game Broken Pieces will launch in the second quarter of 2022 on PS4 and PS5. Death's Gambit Afterlife, an expanded version of the original game featuring new levels, new bosses, and new weapons, will come to PS4 at some point in the future. Fantasy Yuri visual novel about paranormal investigation, Heart of the Woods, will release on PS4 and PS5 in August.
What does that first part mean? What's a Yuri visual novel?
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Oh, is Yuri is Russian, right? Like Yuri Gagarin.
You would think, yeah. I don't know. I need a bigger nerd than me to tell me what
Like
that is.
a visual novel, it sounds like an adult picture book.
Correct.
Okay, I'm just all right.
Platforming game, oh my, Tasomachi, Behind the Twilight, will launch on PS4 sometime this year. Puzzle platformer, A Tale of Paper, which I swear to God we've talked about 5 times, will release on PS5 in the second half of this year. 90s inspired RPG, Sacrifier, will launch on PS4 and PS5 in 2022, and a Kickstarter campaign is now live.
That's a name.
Yes, it is. This is a name.
Yeah. Behind the Twilight. Okay, got that out.
Orcs Must Die 3 will come to PS4 on July 23rd, with the PS5 version coming later in the year after a period of exclusivity on Google Stadia. Multiplayer arena shooter Rawmen will launch on PS4 and PS5 sometime this year. I didn't watch the trailer for that one, but
I'm not watching a trailer called Raw. I'm not Googling Raw Man either.
Why? Just Google Rawmen.
It's for it. I think this is the part they cut out from Beyond the Lust or whatever that was called earlier.
Yeah.
It's the third different name I've given that game.
Big Rumble Boxing Creed Champions, which is also like the 15th time we've talked about this game, will release on PS4 on September the 3rd. Little Tell Bronx series RPG Fuga, Melodies of Steel, will launch digitally on PS4 and PS5 on July 29th. Okay. Rune Factory 4 Special will release on PS4 sometime this fall. Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town, which our friend Ryan is very excited about from the For the Players podcast, will come to PS4 this fall as well. Action adventure game Eldest Souls will launch on PS4 and PS5 on July 29th. Beat 'em up action game River City Girls will come natively to PS5 alongside a physical version from Limited Run Games at some point in the future. Developer WayForward also announced River City Girls 2, which will launch on PS4 and PS5 sometime in 2022.
So you'd assume that would come out after the first one.
Right. All 5 Shantae games are coming to the PS5 and will release free upgrades for PS4 owners of the games. 2D hack and slash platformer Blood Rain Betrayal Fresh Bites will release on PS4 and PS5 at some point in the future, including a physical edition from Limited Run Games. Visual novel dating simulation game Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, originally released in 1993, will come to PS4 and PS5, but no release date was given.
Are they going to update it, or is it just going to be like 18-bit?
I hope not. I hope there's no updates. They just got it playing on PS4 and PS5. Now, here it is. Developer Piranha Bytes announced Elex 2, a sequel to their sci-fi RPG, which will release on PS4 and PS5 at some point in the future. Former Xbox Series exclusive psychological horror game The Medium will come to PS5 on September the 3rd. Japanese RPG Astria Ascending will launch on PS4 and PS5 on September the 30th. Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania will launch on PS4 and PS5 on October 5th. Turn-based action game Research and Destroy, it's a cool name, was announced for PS4 and PS5, and it will release sometime in October. RPG Glitched from publisher Digerati will come to PS4 sometime in early 2022. Publisher Koei Tecmo will release Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater for PS4 and PS5 sometime this year. The game originally launched on Wii U back in September of 2014. 3D puzzle adventure platformer Honorike will come to PS4 sometime later this year following a release on other platforms. Metroidvania-inspired hacking adventure game Recompile will launch on PS5 sometime in August. And finally, Gamatsu reported that Rockstar Games announced they will be shuttering the PS3 version of GTA Online on December the 16th. as well as the online services for LA Noire and Max Payne
Wow.
3 on September the 16th. And that is all for the news this week. And I'll turn it over to John Cena's ball bag for this week's new games.
John Cena's ball bag was a guy that killed us on Chivalry last night.
He did. He was ball bagging us all night on Chivalry. Cracked me up every time though.
Oh God. Okay. I love that PC does not care what you call yourself.
Correct.
On June the 14th, we had Catch the Bowling Balls, Breakthrough Arcade.
That's pretty convenient.
And Space Explorer on PS4. June the 15th saw the Elder Scrolls Online console enhances on the 5. Great name, guys. On the 16th, we had...
Sorry, hang on. That should be the Elder Scrolls Online console enhanced. I made a typo and you said console enhances, which is not your fault. You type fucking anything I wrote right there.
I'm like Ron Burgundy. I just read the shit,
man. I'm gonna do that to you one day. The Elder Scrolls Online console enhances. Oh wow, I'm so sorry.
Why the fuck would they put an S on that?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, June 16th.
On June 16th, we have Shadows of Adam, which sounds amazing. Tannenberg and Verdun. Tannenberg and Verdun are like World War I PC shooters.
Politically correct shooters?
Yeah, I guess. It's like that game that we played. Remember the game we played that came over?
Enlisted?
Yeah, it's like Enlisted, kind of. It has that vibe to it. So if you're into that and you're actually going to move as a squad, play around like a squad, and you have people to do that, perfect for you to play. And on June the 18th, we had Metro Exodus.
Nice.
And that's all.
And that's it. Yep, that's all for the new games this week. Travis, let's begin to close the show out here a little bit differently this week. I want to talk to you about...
Well,
I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about all of the shenanigans that are ongoing before we talk about what games we're going to be playing. I want to talk to you about these shenanigans with this abandoned game that's a horror survival game coming to exclusively to PS5. We think supposedly this year. And I want to talk to you about what all has been going on with that. So I really need to pull up this PlayStation Lifestyle article from earlier.
You got your tinfoil hat on.
I do. So first of all, I'm all in on this. Okay, all in. I'm not living, as I tweeted the other night, I'm not living and dying on it. I'm just having fun with it. Like to me,
it's fun.
Yeah, it's just fun at this point is all it is. So
the fun part about it, you're gonna get into this, but it's just like the amount of stuff that,
yes,
even if it's not real, it's the amount of coincidences would be astronomically small that it was a coincidence. Like it is insane.
Yes. So let's dive into this. Now, I'll try to keep this as short as possible. So just for context, okay, Abandon is a psychological survival horror first-person game that is supposed to be coming exclusively to PS5. It's supposed to feature photorealistic graphics and all these survival mechanics and whatnot. And it's coming from a team, an indie studio that no one has ever heard of, that has never made a game of consequence, called Blue Box Game Studios, that is allegedly based in the Netherlands. Okay. They, about 2 months ago, got a standalone PlayStation blog, like highlight post, like introducing the game. Okay.
And by the way, that would be like me and you getting one based off of what we know about the size of the studio.
Allegedly, they have like 7 employees. Okay. This is also the game that is getting supposedly an interactive trailer app for PS5 on Tuesday, where you will supposedly be able to watch all of the game's future trailers rendering in real time on your PS5. Okay. So not only is this team tiny, not only have they never made a game of consequence or circumstance before, they are also one of the first developers on PS5 to create an app to watch trailers in real time rendering.
And you would think
console.
A team of 7 people would have better things to worry about than an app.
Correct.
I mean, when I saw that, I thought this is fucking weird, and then I didn't know anything about Blue Box or how small or big they were. I thought the idea that
Mhm.
this existed in the first place was like completely secondary to what I'm worried about as a video game consumer.
Right. So fast forward, or let's rewind rather a little bit here. So if you'll remember back before Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain was revealed, okay? Hideo Kojima first began teasing the game just as The Phantom Pain from a studio called Moby Dick Studios, okay? Had a logo, had everything, but it had a trailer. And the director of the studio or head of the studio, his name was Joachim Mogren, okay? This is back in the day. Well, long story short, that ended up being Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. And Joachim is obviously an anagram for Kojima. And the rest of it was all just a sham. And he loves to do this shit, okay? So fast forward a little bit here. Let's dive in here a little bit. So the article that I mentioned just a minute ago was on April the 7th on the PlayStation blog. It was announcing the upcoming game. It was a teaser, and the post was written by a gentleman named Hassan Karaman, who claims to be the game director at Blue Box Game Studios. Okay. And it appeared to be just like any other blog post that Sony does for new games. And then a couple months after that is when just recently is when we got the announcement about the trailer app. Okay. Something that, like we said, not even a first party studio has done. Okay. Then this week, okay, on June 15th, the studio's Twitter handle, which is BB Game Studios, okay, which for those of you who have played Death Stranding will understand that BB is a character in the game in Death Stranding, okay? So the handle is BB Game Studios. Mind you, Blue Box Game Studios' Twitter picture is essentially an inverse of the PlayStation Studios logo, but with Blue Box Game Studios text in it. So they tweeted out on the 15th. They said, guess the name. Abandon equals first letter S, last letter L. Reveal closing in, hashtag PS5, hashtag exclusive. So immediately that sent the internet into a frenzy because Silent Hill, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's been rumors that Kojima is working on a Silent Hill game. So people started going nuts. So then after all this, they tweeted again in the same day and apologized that they have no relation to Konami or Kojima, and it was never their intention to tease Silent Hill, and they apologize. So then this really sets things off. The funny thing about their follow-up tweets in this apology is that in one tweet, they refer to their game abandoned in quotations
Mm-hmm.
as if it's not real, okay? Or at least not the real name. Then moving on here, like I mentioned, the logo, very curiously, an inverse of the PlayStation Studios logo.
Same font.
Same font, color scheme flipped perfectly. Instead of the black PlayStation logo, it's blue lettering. Instead of the white box, it's a black box.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of a black border, it's a white border. Now, this is where it really starts to take off. Not only does Hassan Karaman share the initials of Hideo Kojima, okay, HK, but after some translating of things back and forth from Turkish, who this game director is allegedly Turkish, you translate his name from Turkish to Japanese and then Japanese to English, and apparently Karaman translates somehow to Hideo. Okay, so there's that. The other thing is that this developer has apparently put out some mobile games and apps that have like 4, 5, 6 downloads. This Hassan Karaman, this gentleman has. Now, one of the apps is not a game. It's a fitness app called GoFit XL. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which is under the health and fitness category. And the description of this app says that it is a personal training, in parentheses, PT program. That's the description. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about PT.
Which we know that Kojima did PT back in the day as a demo or teaser for Silent Hill before that got shuttered on April the 27th of 2015, which is about the time that this new studio popped up. Was in 2015. It was founded exactly 1 year after the release of the PT demo, which released in 2014. So 1 year to the day, Blue Box Game Studios was founded and supposedly based in the Netherlands. Combine that with the fact that in 2016, Hideo Kojima announced that he had set up a satellite studio for Kojima Productions based in the Netherlands. Okay? Continuing on here. There is the Death Stranding Director's Cut trailer from Summer Game Fest, which features Norman Reedus and the Magical Fetus, and he is wearing a blue suit, and he's jumping into a box. Not only that, but on the back of his suit, which I can confirm that is not in the original game, the back of his suit for this teaser trailer for Death Stranding Director's Cut has a Netherlands national flag on the back. Now, why? Why would it have that?
You know who you sound like right now?
Who?
You sound like what's the guy that was telling us all the frogs were gay and they were like eating our children?
Alex Jones?
You sound like Alex Jones. Like you smoked a bunch of weed. You're on Joe Rogan right now, and Joe Rogan's like, "Yeah, pull that up, Jamie. Tell me more."
All right. I'm so sorry.
To be honest with you, if I hadn't read the article myself, I would have thought that. But it seems like since that trailer came out, this is all this shit kicked off.
So anyway, then people start to find Mr. Hassan Karaman on PlayStation Network. They find his profile, says he's a verified user.
Which is rare.
His gamer tag is Sneaky Warrior. First of all,
great name, by the way.
He's also been playing something called Siren Head, which does not exist on the PlayStation Store. Which the art for the name of Siren Head is actually Demon Blood, but the artwork says Siren Head. Okay, so things that we cannot play. Then his kind of gamer picture for his profile says DevCon 2021, which isn't a thing as far as I know. So there's a ramification there, or an implication there that it's a con by a developer. One of the other compelling things is that when you link to the YouTube account that's on this PSN account, the YouTube channel is called 2727, and Silent Hills was confirmed as canceled publicly on April the 27th of that year that it was canceled. And then finally, the really last compelling piece of evidence here is that, other than the studio set up in the Netherlands, in the teaser video for Abandoned, at the 49-second mark, there's a graffiti on a wall on a building that says "Kill the trespassers," and then there's a tree blocking the letters T and the, and then P in trespasser, or PT, as you might have gathered. And then then one more thing. This is pretty. And I swear I'm done. The last thing is that apparently Jeff Keighley shared a direct message from Twitter from Mr. Hassan Karaman. Okay, shared a screenshot of it, and of Hassan asking to help him reveal his game sometime later this summer. And people started asking Jeff Keighley about this, and he said, "Oh, I'm waiting for some pictures from Hassan Karaman that he's supposed to be sending me to prove that, it's really not Kojima, it's his own game," and so forth and so on. Well, as you know, Keighley was in on the original kind of shenanigans with Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain back in the day. So, and we all know that Keighley and Kojima are close. They have a close friendship. Kojima was just on Keighley's Summer Game Fest show. He's usually the one that Kojima talks to and makes his announcements with, and so on and so forth. So there's just way too much, in closing, there's way too much smoke for there not to be fire. There's way too much smoke for this not to be Kojima. It might not be Silent Hill, but there's way too much pointing to the fact that this is Kojima in some form or fashion. Do you have any thoughts about my tinfoil theory here?
As you know, I'm a major subscriber of Occam's razor.
Mm.
For those of you who don't know what that is, it means the simplest solution is usually the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And that applies to almost everything, as far as I'm concerned. So
Yeah.
in this situation, there's three options. One, Kojima is just fucking with everybody, and it's going to be a huge reveal, and it's what everybody thinks it is on the conspiracy side. The second option is it's not him; it's just a really big fan who is mimicking the things he would do. That could be an option. And then the third option is none of the above. It's just a game that's being made, and all these things are just coincidences. So, what
Hmm.
is the most likely to me? Well, I think you could take the coincidences off the table because there's too many. There's just too many. You
I
know,
agree.
it's like
Absolutely.
when you like hear about detectives talking about crimes, when you hit coincidences they happen all the time. It's sometimes just fucking crazy ones that happen. But what makes somebody guilty circumstantially is when there's just so many circumstances that are just coincidences. You cannot ignore them. So I think that's where we are with this. We know it's not a coincidence. So that
Correct.
the last two is there somebody who is so clever, more clever than Kojima, that they started this, in 2015, and with the foresight that in 6 years this would happen, or something like this would happen. Like,
Isn't that outrageous?
that seems really outrageous. So
Yeah.
to me, the simplest answer is it's something Kojima's doing. That's the simplest answer to me. Out of
Yeah.
everything. And the funny part is when you go over everything, it just sounds so fucking crazy. Like you're even like on the 49-second mark. It's like we're watching that Bigfoot video where he's walking across and it's shaking, and they're like,
Yeah.
at the 30-second mark, his head tilts left. Humans can't do that. Like that's what we were doing. And but when you take a step back and add it all together,
Dude.
it makes sense. It's an equation that makes sense.
He is the only person in video games who would do this, who would literally be doing this for 6 years,
Right.
setting this up, right? I mean,
And
I've really enjoyed it.
he might not have initially meant to do that. He might have just
Sure.
he might have, oh, let's set up this thing over in the Netherlands. I can use it, or we'll use it for something, I don't know. And then 12 months later, all of a sudden stuff starts spinning in his head. He's like, I'm working
Sure.
on Death Stranding, but I got all this going on in the background, because he seems like he's the type of guy that just always has stuff going on, like
Yeah.
always. And like we talked about earlier, that he put out a picture of him eating lunch, and you could see the Sony logo in the background from the picture. He put out some other thing about, made it kind of seem like he was working with Sony again. And then of course, like we talked about like a month ago, all those Microsoft rumors with Kojima. I mean, I could see him starting those rumors just to set this up.
Sure. Absolutely.
None of this is like, as weird and crazy as it all is, when you think about it's Kojima, nothing seems out of place. Like it just seems like, oh, this is a thing he's doing.
So I have a live update. Okay, I have a live update here.
Oh, here we
So
go.
all right. So Blue Box last night teased that blue does not stand for not does not refer to a color. It stands for something else. Okay.
An
They said
emotion.
they would reveal it 24 hours later. So now since we've been recording this, they have said that this stands for best level user experience. Okay, blue stands for unique gameplay interactions with unparalleled user experiences. Okay, so I replied from the podcast Twitter handle. I said, "What about box?" Question mark. They replied to us.
Oh, Blue Box Studios replied to us.
Yes, they
I'm so
said that
excited.
they replied soon. Dot dot dot. Dude, I'm telling you,
This is amazing.
this is outrageous. So anyway, so we're not done there. We're not done yet. So then I guess we'll see. I mean, because the app comes out on Tuesday, or we'll have to see what that is. But I've just been blown away by all of this, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun. I don't know. I've enjoyed it. It's. I tell you what, it's been hell of a marketing for them. Nonetheless, they've gained in the past maybe 3.5 days. They've gained 15,000 followers on their
May-
Twitter handle.
Maybe we
So,
should get Hassan on the podcast.
oh, maybe we should.
Why
Have,
don't you
have,
DM him?
have you seen all of these? Have you seen all of these Photoshop pictures of Hideo Kojima where people have been putting like a blonde wig and mustache on Hideo Kojima and making him look like a Netherlands guy, whatever, a Danish guy, whatever?
That's amazing.
Hilarious. It's like, hey, I'm Hassan Karaman. That's what they say. Oh, it's been so good. All right. Well, let's take the tinfoil hats off. But I felt like we needed to talk about that because it's really kind of taken the video game and really the PlayStation world by storm this week. But that's where we stand as of right now. So let's close out here by discussing what we're going to be playing in the week ahead. You go ahead.
Well, I guess I'm gonna get Stevenage back to the Premier League where they belong again.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna keep there's a striker called Elliot List. He's on the team in real life. He played left wing to start the year. They moved him to striker. He's the fastest kid in the world. I'll probably keep him the whole time just because I like him in real life. So he'll stay on the team. Still haven't found a goalkeeper, by the way. It's been the hardest thing in the world to find.
Usually is.
Outside of that, I'm gonna keep cranking out Chivalry, keep grinding it out.
Mhm.
Like you said, we could pretty much platinum it just playing the game. I think I'm 70, 60% of the way to a I think 500 or 1,000 kills. I can't even remember now.
Yeah.
So I've almost got that. I've almost got my 100 kills in every category. So I think I'm like, where were we last night? Like 42, 44% of the trophies we already have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's not bad. I'm
Mhm.
sure we'll throw in some Operation Tango and try to platinum that. I haven't looked up the tracks for GT Sport next week. It kind of depends on what they are. I'm just kind of bored with the daily races, to be honest, because they've repeated the same types of cars and tracks so many times. Like, I wish they would just do something fucking weird, like it's a VW bus at Brands Hatch, or it's whatever. It's a 1970 Corvette at Laguna Seca. Just something different that we could do, because it's always like G3 cars at the Nürburgring. It's like we've done this 75 times. Like, I don't know. I would like for them to be a little bit more creative. So maybe they'll do that. But
Hmm.
the creativity on that side has really went down since they announced they're developing GT7. So that's probably part of it. I mean, they're probably just not worried about it. Just like do whatever.
Right.
It doesn't matter. But anyway, that's about it really. I don't have anything else playing unless something crazy pops up.
Yeah. Maybe a new teaser for Blue Box Game Studios and Abandon pops up on Tuesday or something like
Yeah,
that.
I'll
And
download it to my PlayStation to watch it on my TV.
right. Well, I'm going to play Chivalry 2 as well with you and Operation Tango. I think we can definitely beat Operation Tango this week and maybe
Yeah.
start in on a second playthrough. We'll see how it goes. But and then other than that, I will continue on with Ratchet and Clank. I think I'm about like 25% complete with the game.
Hmm.
It's not a very long game, so I'll probably be done with that hopefully by the end of the month or so. And then one other thing that I have to add on my plate here is Metro Exodus. I have been waiting for the PS5 upgrade for this, and it's quite the upgrade from what I understand, including ray tracing and extensive DualSense controller support with the triggers and haptic feedback and whatnot. So pretty excited to check that out. I have it downloaded and ready to go. Hoping to get some time to check that out this weekend. But I really enjoyed the first two on PS4, so hoping that I enjoy this one as well. That's really it. So with that, Travis, let's get out of here. If you guys enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss an episode, and you'll have them right there for you on Monday morning on your podcast app. Also, if you prefer to watch on YouTube, you can do that as well at the DualSense Podcast. And you can also catch some of our game streams and clips there. And also, if you want to discuss maybe some Blue Box Game Studios theories with us on Twitter, find us at the DualSense Pod. And the last thing, and really the most important, is if you have a friend or a loved one who you think may enjoy a PlayStation podcast such as this, they can get all of the week's news and rumors and more in the world of PlayStation in less than 90 minutes, then please share them with us. All right. You guys take care. Have a good week. Stay safe. Bye bye.